Hey, welcome back to the channel, Motorhot 579. I picked up some whips on Amazon. They were on sale. I got two of them for $45, but I didn't realize whether they were two separate pieces. It wasn't. So, in any event, we'll splice them together. I'm one of those people that gets started on something and picks away at it, and I'm just realizing now that I probably should have been filming this. So I'll show you where I'm at now, and I'll show you all the connections and stuff, how we gonna connect everything up on the 26 950 Sport. So let me show you. First off, these come stock with a bus bar here. If you take off your hood, you'll see this is here, and this connector is disconnected, but it's right there in that hole. So you have accessory, and then you have B negative, B positive. So what we got here is, this is on with the key. Okay, this is your ground, and this is on hot all the time. So basically we run the switch up here, we run the positive to the positive. That yellow is the positive for the light on the switch itself, and then the black obviously is your ground. Inside here, you pop this panel right off, and you can get in here, and you can pop out these panel switches. So then you pop that switch back in pretty easily. And then these two wires are left for hooking up your lights. So like I said, I kind of got ahead of myself, and this is where we're at right now. Yeah, so I'm looking for the best way to run these up without, with a nice clean install. I'm thinking the best way I can do it is follow this wiring harness right up under the dash. We'll disconnect, we'll connect those up under there, and then put it back together. I know it looks like a lot, but it's not really. Anybody can do this stuff. It's pretty easy. It's just a matter of screws and some of those grommet things that pop in and pop out, and just pulling the knob off. You want on that, you just loosen that up and then unscrew the knob. Comes right off easily, and then you're able to pull out the plastic here for that. Obviously the seat's got to come out, but if you got somewhere to work on your stuff, and if you got a lot, a day to do it, like I said, I'm fortunate enough to have a garage to do this stuff in. So we'll go ahead and we're gonna start putting it all back together, connecting up the two lights, and show you from there. Alright, so generally what I'm doing here is I ran the wires down underneath the rear windshield, and I'm getting a general idea of where I want to go with this. So I'm going to go along the edge here, come down to the bottom. I'm probably just going to Gorilla Tape this stuff down here. But once I get to here, I'm going to start zip tying, and taking up all the slack over here. I did put one zip tie here as I ran this all the way up, and left some slack so that I can tie into the switch here. And I'll do the same on the other side, if that makes sense. So yeah, this runs right up alongside that wiring harness. I'll zip tie it, I'll clean it all up. You'll never even see the wires. They'll be behind the seat, under the seat, down under the console. It'll be a nice clean installation. I'm no pro, but I'm learning as I go. Okay, so I loosely got a zip tie wrapped up around there. I ran a bunch of wire up here, and I zip tied them in to the wiring harness in here. just loosely, basically so that I know how much slack I gotta pull back. So what I'm gonna do now, this is why I say it's difficult doing this by myself, is because I gotta what I'll do is I'll loosely wrap this around this wiring harness. Once I know there's enough slack up there, I'll tighten this all the way. I'll just kind of tighten it up now. I don't want to go too tight. I don't want to crush the wires. I don't want to make sure I leave enough cable to go on up there. Let's see what we got. Yeah, so I'm gonna throw another zip tie around it right here. One here, and then right up there. And that'll keep it nice and clean. And I'll take all this slack back up that you can see here. And we'll zip tie it up under the seat. Okay, since these whip lights are single whip lights, they each come with their own harness. I tried to buy the double harness separately, but they're sold out. So you can do one of two things. You can splice them both together and have it on one switch, or in my case, I have so much room for switches, I'm going to use the second switch. So each whip light will have its own switch. It'll also have its own remote control, because I'm not sure if you tie them together if one remote control will control them both. From what I've seen, it doesn't look like they'll do the same thing. So it's a little bit of a workaround, but I have the space, so I'm going to hook this switch up, and same thing like I showed before. This is going to go inside the cab where the switches go, right? And then on this bus here, you can see I have the yellow and the red connected there, and then the negative connected there. This is the accessory, so key on. I don't want them to be able to come on with the hot. So I'll unplug this so we don't get any spark. I'll disconnect these again. I'll connect the switch in, and then it will be on its own switch, if that makes sense. You know, later down the road, if I have more money or the dual harness comes back into stock, I'll pick that up and just redo it. It's easy enough. But let me show you what I've got over here as far as running these wires. I'm not a professional, but I'm telling you, I did a pretty good job with it. Still not 100%, but I tried to make sure that the emergency brake cable wasn't zip tied in, and everything else is out of the way, so it's not in the way of the shifter. Out to this point here, and then I've got it zip tied here and as well over there. I mean, I'll have to cut everything up. Still trying to figure out a way to mount this stuff so it's not loose hanging around. So yeah, we're getting there. You can do this though. It's not 100, you know, it's not real hard, is what I meant to say. So okay, I got you. Okay, so these are the final connections. So on the switch, you have these two males, and it says right on it, device negative, device positive. These are the leads coming off of the whips. You got a red and a black. Simple, simple. Red to red, black to black. Red to red, black to black. I've hooked it in both up. Let's take a look here. All right, so You see the switches both have the backlights on. Let's check out the whips, see if they come on. There's that one. There's that one. This is what they look like. Pretty sick. You want to stick around if you want to see everything come back together, how it all goes back. All right, we're going to get this console back in here. Get that seatbelt's going to come out of there. There we go. It'll drop right there. Push it back. Yeah. Then we got these screws to put back in. I'm not going to tighten it all the way down yet because I want to be able to move it so that I can put in these grommet things. I don't know what the hell they call them, but that's what I'm calling them. Pop these in where they go. That's one. Pop that in. Just for reference, when you're working on stuff, you know, get yourself one of these magnetic tray holders. Have some way to keep the stuff that's non-magnetic, like I use this cup holder. So I think I'm going to wrap this up here. I mean, this is just basic stuff. I'm just putting this all back in. The one thing I would say is, you know, put your, I'll show you this here, put this back on. And get it to where it comes around. Okay, and then we're going to tighten that back up. And it is a 14 millimeter. Now it's an kind of an oddball, but sorry, I need a third hand here. So I'm going to hold that where you want it. And give that a little tighten, and then we're good to go on that. Like I said, we turn the key on, switch. That gives us the whip lights, and then there's two remotes because I have the two separate lights itself. But if you click them both on each side, like, you can change the modes. There you go. You can get them doing different things on each side. Kind of like that. It's unique. Put them both on auto and see what they do. Yeah. So that's it. That's how you install whip lights. Trust me, you can do this. It's probably a 5 job out of 10. Not super difficult. Just figuring out the wiring and figuring out how to run the wires so that it's a clean installation. There's a ton of slacks. I've taken it up. That's going to go under the seat. I haven't figured out exactly how I'm going to run these wires, but for now they're just going to stay behind the seat until I get something that I can maybe pop in here. Nothing will seem to stick right now on there. All right. This is the install of the X-Brite whip lights on the CFMOTO Zforce 950 Sport. I paid a total of $45 for these. They were on sale as singles, which I didn't realize they were, like that, but actually turned out okay. I got 2 switches. I got plenty of room for switches in there, and they look pretty cool. I'm sure the people see me in the dust. They'll be eating my dust. All right. Motor Heart 579 out. Thank you, John.